Hey guys, you are welcome back to my YouTube channel, Beloved Academy. In today's video, we're going to be treating linear programming, and the method that we're going to be using is Simplex method of solving linear programming problem. Now, this is the question that we're going to be solving, and if you want to proceed to solve this question, the first thing to do is to change this objective function and the constraints to standard form by introducing a slack variable. Slack variable is introduced to absorb those resources that are not used in the course of the production process. So that's what I'm going to be doing that now. If you want to convert this, also don't forget the numbers of slack variable that you are going to be introducing will depend on the constraint that you have. Are you getting it? The numbers of slack variable that you are going to be introducing largely depend on what the numbers of constraints that you have. Of course, I'm having here two constraints. We have this is the constraint one, the function, and this is the constraint two, the function. So my objective function will become like this: z is equals to 10x1 plus 6x2 plus 0x3 plus 0x4. So by doing this, I've already changed this to what? To standard form. Now let's proceed to the constraints. Now, if you want to change this to standard form, you are going to be having, for the constraint, don't forget this is the objective function. So I'm doing that for the constraint right now. 4x1 plus 5x2 plus, for the first constraint, the first value of your slack variable will be 1. The coefficient of your slack variable will be 1. For the first constraint, this is the first constraint, don't forget, this is the first constraint, and this is what? The second constraint. For the first constraint, the coefficient of your slack variable will be 1. So I'm going to be having 1x3 then plus 0x4. That's it. This constraint and this slack variable belongs to the first constraint. That is the reason why you cannot assume a neutral figure, which is 0. So I make it 1. Now for the second constraint, the value of your second slack variable will be also 1, while other will be 0. That's what I'm going to do now. This is the second constraint, so I'm going to be having 5x1 plus 2x2 plus, now for this one, because this is for the first one, this one is going to take an insignificant value, which was 0x3 plus. Then for the second one, because the second slack variable belongs to the second constraint, so this one also will assume a significant figure, which is 1. So I'm going to be having 1x4. Now, I didn't put 20 is equals to 20 is equals to 20. So I have sorry. Okay, so I have changed this to standard form. This is the standard form now. Now, the next thing that you are going to be doing after changing this to slack variable by introducing your slack variable, the next thing that you are going to be doing is to construct your initial simplex table. That's not the first iteration. Construct your initial simplex table. Now, this is how the simplex. Okay, this is our simplex table, initial simplex table. So we have the resource, which is the input. Don't forget this is the input. Then we have the real activity level. We have the real variable, which are the variable that we have here. This variable, we have variable x1 and variable x2. This is this. And we have the slack variable that we introduce in the course of the production process to absorb the resources that is left out. And we have the fraction and ratio. On our on the column side, under the resource, we have the slack variable in here, and we have the zj, and we have the pj minus zj. The pj, let me start by saying that the pj is the coefficient of the variable x and x1, x2, x3, and x4 in our standard objective function. So I'm going to be writing here now. For x1, the coefficient is 10, so I'm going to be putting 10 here. And for x2, the coefficient is 6. I'm going to be putting 6 here. And for x3, the coefficient is 0. And for x4, the coefficient is what? Also 0. So 0, So that is the value. That's how I got my PJ. The coefficient of x1, x2, and x3. The coefficient of our variable in the standard objective function. So now let's proceed with our calculation. If you look at this variable, we have x1 and x2. Go back to your standard constraints and standard. If you look at in our standard constraint. Oh God. Okay, now let us proceed. The coefficients of x1. The coefficient of x1 in this place is 4. So I'm going to be writing 4 in this place. The coefficient of x2 is what? 5. Why the coefficient of x3, which is the slack variable, is 1. Have you seen it? 1. Then the coefficient of x4 in this the first constraint is 0. So that's the first thing. Let's come back to the second constraint. The coefficient of x1 in the second constraint is 5. So I'm going to be writing 5 here. 5. The coefficient of x2 in the second constraint is 2. The coefficient of x3 is 0. And that for x4 is 1. So now after getting this, we are going to get our key elements. And that's what I'm going to be showing you now. We need our key element, and we cannot get our key element without first finding our key row and key column. The element that intercepts both lines is known as the key element. Now let's proceed to get our key element. If you want to get the key element, you first have to locate, we must first get our key column. And if you want to get the key column, let's proceed. It will be the highest value of your pj minus zj. Now how do we get the value of zj? That's what I'm going to be calculating now. Don't forget that the coefficient of x3, which is the slack variable, the coefficient in our objective function is what? 0. So I'm going to be having 0 here. And the coefficient of x4 in our objective function, standard objective function to be specified, is what? 0. So now I have this. If I want to get the value of my zj, for this place, if I want to get the value of zj for this place, if I want to get the value of zj here, let me start from this. If I want to get the value of zj in this place, it will be, this is how to get it. 0, the element here, it will be zj. Let me call it zj of x1. Zj of x1. Now I just wrote this formula. Now it will be 0 multiplied by what I have here. Oh, I don't put my, okay, let's proceed. 0 multiplied by what I have here plus 0 multiplied by what I have here. Now the value of zj for x1 will be 0 multiplied by 4 plus 0 multiplied by 5. So I'm going to be having 0 multiplied by 4, 0 into bracket 4 plus 0 into bracket 5. So that will give me 0. That's it. And 0 multiplied by x3, which is for this, and 0 multiplied by x4, which is for this. So that will give me 0. I have 0 here. So for the next one, it will be what? Zj x2, which will be 0 into bracket. This 0 multiplied by, trace it downward, is 5, plus this 0, that's what I have there. Then 4, trace it downward, is 2. So 0 into bracket 2, that will give me also 0. So I'm going to have what? I'm going to be having 0 here. So for the x3, the value of my zj will also be what? 0, because this 0 will what? Negate every value that is here. So this one will be also 0, and for the x4 will be also what? 0. So that's how to get this this row, which is the zj. Now let's proceed to get the value of our pj minus zj. To get the value of pj minus zj, you have your pj here. The first pj is what? 10. Let me read this. So the first pj is 10. 10 minus 0 will give me 10. Then 10 minus 0 will give me 10. 6 minus 0 will give me 6. And then 0 minus 0 is also 0. And this one is also what? 0 minus 0 is also 0. So now you are getting the value of your pj minus zj. The next thing to do is to look at this pj minus zj. Which one is of the highest value? That is the column that you're going to be considering. Of course, the highest value is 10. So let me circle the 10 so that you can see very well. The highest value is 10. So this row is my key. No, this column is my key column. You got it? Do you understand why I got this? The highest value of my pj minus zj will be that row will be my that column will be my key column. So now I've gotten the key column. How do I get the key row? Of course, this is row and this is column. So how do I get my key row? If I want to get my key row, don't forget that the reactivity level for the for our standard constraint for the first one is what? The reactivity level for the first one is 20. So I'm going to be having 20 in this place. And the real activity level for the second constraint is also 20. So I'm going to be having 20 in this place. So if you want to proceed, before getting our key row, we have to get our what? Fraction. How do we get our fraction? Fraction will be 20. This 20 divided by this 4. The reactivity level divided by the corresponding key row element. Key column elements. If you look at this, we have 20 here. We are going to be using 4 to divide this 20 to get our fraction. So I'm going to be having 20 divided by 4. 20 all over 4. So I'm going to be having 20 divided by 4 is 5. And for the next one, which is x4, so I'll be dividing 20 by the corresponding key column element. So I'm going to be having 20 divided by 5. 20 all over 5, which will give me what? 4. So I have my fraction. I have my fraction ratio. Now, the next thing that I want you to take note, if you want to get your key row, you are going to be choosing the lowest positive value in your fraction. If you look at this value, I have 5 here, I have 4 here. The lowest positive value is 4. Therefore, this will be my key row. This will be my key row. This will be my key row. This is my key row. So that's it. The lowest positive value is 4. So this will be my key row. Now, if you look at this, I have gotten the element that intercepts both key row and key element is 5. So my key element is 5. Okay. After getting my key element, the key element is 5. Now I proceed to this is my first iteration table. Now I want you to pay attention. Let me start by writing the value of pj. The pj is 10, 6, 0, 0. Don't forget pj 10. No, not this piece. Under x1, pj is 10, 6, 0, 0, 10, 10, 6, 0, and this one is 0. Now I've written the value of my pj. Now I want you to pay attention here. If you look at this, is my key element. This is the key element. The key element is 5. So I will have to trace this 5. The key element is 5. If I trace this 5 to the top, I'm going to get this is the variable. This is the real variable that is there. So I'm going to be interchanging this real variable with this slack variable. Don't forget, this 5 is my key element. I will trace it to the top. The real variable that is there will be interchanged with the corresponding slack variable. If I trace this key element, which is 5 to the top, this is my real variable here. If I trace it to the left hand side, this x4 is my slack variable. So after getting this, I'm going to be interchanging this x1, which is the real variable, with the slack variable. So instead of having slack variable in this place, I'm going to have real variable. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you want to get this now, this one will not change because we don't have any key element. We can only have one key element. So the key element is 5. So I'm going to be interchanging the real variable, which is x1, with the slack variable, which is x4. So let's trace. And this one will not change. So I'm going to have 0x3 also, 0x3. And since x4 will change, if you come back to our standard objective function, the coefficient of x3, okay, is it x3? No. The coefficient of x1 is 10. So I'm going to be having 10x1. 10x1. So the coefficient of x1 is 10. So I've already interchanged this. Instead of having 0x4 here, we are going to be writing 10x1. Now let's proceed with our calculation. Don't forget that we have to look for the value of zj in this also, and we have to find the value of pj minus zj. Now we got to this place. Now the next thing that you are going to be doing is to divide your key elements. make your key element 1 by dividing the total row with your key element. This is what I mean. You know 5 is your key element when you are solving. If you want to make the total, if you want to make 5 1 with respect to the element that is in the rows which 5 belong, what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be dividing each row by 5. So I'm going to be having 5 divided by 5. My new element, my new value will now be 5 divided by 5, which is 1 under x1 now. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Then 2 divided by 5 will be 2 over 5. 2 all over 5. Then 0 divided by 5 will be 0. And 1 divided by 5 will be 1 all over 5. That's it. I have made my key element 1 with respect to the element in the rows. So now let's proceed to getting, let's get the real value for our slash variable 0x3. I will give you a formula. That's the formula that you are going to be using to get, that you are going to use to get our key element. Okay, for the real activity, for this real activity, I will have 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 will give me 4. 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 will give 4. Yes. 20 divided by 5 will give me 4. So now let's proceed to calculate the real value of this place. Let me roll a line also here. Put a line here also. So let me put a line here also. So now let's proceed to calculate our real value for the first value of x1 under this. Don't forget that the old value is 4. The old value under x3 x1 is 4. This is the formula I'm saying. New value will be equals to new value is equals to old value minus corresponding key row element multiplied by corresponding key column element corresponding key column element all over key elements. That's the formula I'm saying. What do I mean? This is what I mean. New value that you are going to be inserting here will be the old value which you have here already. Old value of each element which you have here already minus the corresponding key row element. If you look at 4 now, let's assume that I want to get the real value of 4 in this place. I want to get the real value of 4 in this place. What do I do? What I'm going to do is the old value is 4. I'm going to be inserting 4 here. 4 minus the corresponding row element. The corresponding key row element is 5. Don't forget, the corresponding key row element under 4 is what? 5. So I'm going to be having minus 5 multiplied by, also the corresponding key column element is also 4 again. Are you getting? Please, I don't want you to make a mistake. Don't get me wrong. The new value of 4, that I want to get the new value of 4. I told you that the formula is old value minus corresponding key row element multiplied by corresponding key row element divided by our key element itself. So I want to get the new value of 4, which is what? 4 minus the corresponding key row element is what? 5. I put it there, multiplied by the corresponding key column element. The corresponding key column element is also what? Is also 5. Is 4. Is 4 all over 5. So if you punch your calculator, you are going to get 0. 5 multiplied by 4 is what? 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 minus 4 will be what? 0. So the value of this will be what? 0. Now let's proceed to get the real value of 5. I've gotten the real value of 4, which is 0. Now let's proceed to get the real value of 5. You are going to use this 5 minus the corresponding key row elements. The corresponding, don't forget, this is row and this is column. So the corresponding key row element is 4. 4 multiplied by the corresponding key column element is what? 2. So 4 multiplied by 2. 4 multiplied by 2 all over the key element is 5. So I'm going to be having 4 multiplied by 2 over 5. That is what? 4 times 2 is 8. 5 minus 8 over 5 will give me 25 minus 8 all over 5. 25 minus 8 is 17. So I'm going to be having the new value of x2 and the new value of 5 will be what? 17 over 5. 17 over 5. So let's proceed to get the new value of x3. It's also follow the same approach. The new value of x3 will be the old value. It will be the old value, which is 1. The old value is 1. 1 minus the old value, which is 1, minus the key row element. The key row element is what? 4. The key row element is 4. When you close it, you got here is 4. Multiplied by the key column element is 0. Multiplied by 0 all over the key element, which is 5. So all over 5. So 4 times 0 is 0. 0 over 5 is 0. 1 minus 0 is also 1. So that's it. So let's proceed to get the new value of 4. The new value of x4, which is 0. It will be 0. We just substitute 0 here. 0 minus the key row element is 4. We also have 4 here. The key column element is 1. So 0 minus 4 times 1 divided by the key element, which is what? 5. So 0 minus 4 times 1 is 4. So that will give me minus 4 all over what? Minus 4 all over 5. So now I've gotten the new value of the variable. Okay, it remains the new value of this real activity. It is 20. The old value is 20. Let me erase this. The old value is 20, and we have old value minus the key row element. The key row element is 4. So the key row element is 4 into bracket 4 multiplied by the key column element is 20. 4 multiplied by 20 all over 20. You got it right? Old value minus the key row element, then multiplied by the key column element divided by what? 5. No, sorry. The key element is 5. Sorry. It will be 5. So 20 multiplied by 4 will give me 80. 80 divided by 5, that will give me 16. 20 minus 16. 20 minus 16, that will be 4. Yeah, that will be 4. So the new value for this is 4. The new value is 4 because if you solve this, you are going to get the 4 as your value. So now let's proceed with our calculation. So now I've gotten the all the variables, all the activities, the variables and the slack variable, the new one. So now let's proceed to get our zj and zj. Don't forget that zj is gotten by addition of this plus this. Okay, now let's proceed to get the value of our zj. We are going to start from this place. We don't need the zj of this because this is where our ed value starts. So we are going to get the zj of this. How do we get the zj of this column? The zj of this column is equals to 0 into bracket, this 0 into bracket, x3. The value of x in that column is what? 0 plus 10, this 10 into bracket, 10 into bracket. What's the value of x in that column? The value of x is 1. So the zj of this column is what? 0 plus 10. 0 plus 10. So the value of the zj is 0 plus 10, and that gives us 10. Now let's proceed to get the zj of this column also. If you want to get the zj of this column, it will be 0 multiplied by the element in the column. That will be 0 into bracket 17 divided by 5. 0 multiplied by 17 divided by 5 will give us 0 plus 10 multiplied by 10 into bracket. The value of element in that column is also 2 over 5. 10 multiplied by 2 over 5. So 0 multiplied by 17 over 5 will give me 0. Why 10 multiplied by 2 over 5 will give me 20 all over 5. 20 over 5. Of course, 20 divided by 5 is 4. So the value of zj in this place is 4. Now let's proceed to get the value of zj of this column. 0 multiplied by 1 will give me 0. 10 multiplied by 0 will give me 0. So this value of zj is 0. 0 to get the value of the zj of this column also. 0 multiplied by 4 will give me 0. Why 10 multiplied by 1 over 5 will give me 10 over 5, which is equals to 2. So, okay, the next thing is to calculate the pj value minus zj. The pj value in this place is 10. 10 minus 10 will give me 0. That's it. Then the pj minus zj, the pj is what? 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. Then for the next one, 0 minus 0 will give me 0, and 0 minus 2 will give me minus 2. So we have not gotten our optimal solution. We have not gotten our optimal solution because we still have for we to attain an optimal solution, we must, this pj minus zj must be less than or equals to 0. That is, for optimal solution, for optimal solution, pj minus zj must be less than or equals to what? 0. But in this place, I have 0, I have 2, I have 0, I have negative 2. So therefore, this is not an optimal solution. I will proceed to go to my what? The second iteration. Are you getting it? Assuming I calculate the pj minus zj and the value that I got is less than or equals to 0. All the pj value is not less than or equals to 0. Have you seen it? I have 0 here, but 2 is greater than 0. So I am not going to stop at the first iteration. I'm going to proceed to the second iteration. Assuming that pj minus zj is less than 0, if I have like 0, 0, 0 or negative things there, if I didn't have these two, maybe I have positive one, negative 1, I can stop here. Yes, I'm going to stop here because I've already obtained my optimum solution. But this particular one, I have not attained my optimal solution. Therefore, I'm going to proceed to the second iteration. So follow me carefully. Now, if you want to proceed to the second iteration, you know that you have to get your key elements, and there is no way. You have to get your key row, you have to get your key column in order to get your key element. So therefore, if you want to get your key column, I told you that when you calculate the pj minus zj, the highest positive value, the column on that column will be our key column. And if you look at the pj and the zj in this place, pj minus zj, the highest positive column is the highest positive number is 2. So therefore, the new key column will be this column. Yeah, that is it. Yes, that is the new key column. The new key column will be this 17/5 column x2, because the highest positive value of my pj minus zj is 2. Therefore, now if I want to get my key row, I have to get what? My ratio. If you want to get the ratio, you have to divide the real activity by the corresponding key column element. The real activity divided by the corresponding key column elements. So I'm going to be having this 4 divided by 17. This 4 divided by 17/5 and this 4 divided by 2/5. That's what I'm going to be having.